So this is the farm, which is a special place for my family and I. It's where I shot my first buck ever. It's where my father-in-law, that same weekend actually, harvested his biggest buck ever. It's just a great spot. It's near and dear to my heart. Now, I am completely obsessed with the backcountry spot and stalk public land game. It's probably my favorite way to hunt and will probably always be my favorite way to hunt. But that doesn't mean that I totally write off a private land opportunity like this. That being said, this place is anything but a sure thing. The deer move in and out of this spot in the surrounding deserts at will. One week they're everywhere, the next week it's a ghost town. At one point they're coming in from a certain spot and feeding in a certain field, and then they stop doing that and they move to somewhere totally different on the property or off the property. It's a challenging hunt, it's a fun hunt, it's just wide open, flat terrain. So spot and stalk is almost impossible, but it's a great spot for some newbie rifle hunters or experienced rifle hunters, because there's some long shots that can be taken out here. And it's a great spot for when I don't have multiple days to string together for a backcountry opportunity, and I just have like an evening I can sneak away and try to hunt for a couple hours. This year the farm served both those purposes. My wife and son both drew rifle tags in this unit, and they don't love sleeping in the dirt. So they will do it if they have to, but it's not fun for pretty much anyone. So we did a super bougie hunt where we stayed at my aunt-in-law's house just up the road, and we would come out, hunt the morning, we'd go back to the house, eat, sleep, hang out, come back, hunt the evening. It's the cushiest hunt I'm ever a part of, but it's a great family style hunt. My father-in-law came along so that the four of us could kind of divide and conquer, and each of us more experienced hunters could take a newbie with us and just try to get it done. The first evening, my wife was with her dad in one field and I was with my son in another field, and right at last light, we both had bucks enter the field we were sitting on. And simultaneously, unbeknownst to the other one, each of them took shots.
No more. He's running. He's running the road.
Yeah.
He just jumped the fence. Nope.
Okay, they moved further left. Did you see them? Okay, they're further left in the field. So go further left of that light pole. There's 3 of them. I think they might be looking our way.
Oh, I see one. I'm gonna shoot.
Hold on. Okay. Do you see antlers?
No, I can't. But I think I do.
If you see antlers, put it right behind his shoulder and let it go.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I don't know if I got it.
It's okay. Put another one in. Oh, there's, okay.
Do you see him at all?
Yep. Oh, okay. Right there.
Where?
Right, left, right by where you shot last time. There's one still standing there. The others took off. Do you see him? Left of the light pole. Just standing in the field.
No.
He's walking towards the telephone pole. Zoom it back out if you have to. Did you put another one in?
I'm all the way zoomed out. Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Then
I believe I did.
see if it's okay. I think I heard it. So, yes, you did, because the shell's on the ground. Okay, he's just to the left of the telephone pole.
I see it a little bit.
Okay, it's also possible that it's too dark.
And sadly, all 3 of those bullets hit nothing but dirt. I mean, if you're gonna miss, you want a clean miss like they had, but a miss nonetheless. Later on, there were a couple other opportunities. My son and I tried to crawl through a field to close the distance on a couple of deer that honestly, I couldn't tell if they were little bucks or just does. And when we finally got close enough, they were just does. But it was fun to creep in on them anyway. And the final morning, we were glassing together from one little high point, and there were 2 different groups of deer, so we divvied up, and my father-in-law took my wife, and they dipped behind a berm and tried to head off this one group, while my son and I dropped into another field and tried to close the distance on this other lone deer in the field. And my wife's deer escaped before it was light enough to shoot, and my son and I were able to close in on what we ended up realizing was the same one-antlered deer my wife had shot at the first night. We nicknamed him Elliot, of course.
Hello, Smelliot.
And as he was getting to the edge of the field where he was about to jump into the desert and disappear, it's probably at the end of my son's comfortable range, but decided to have him set up and take a shot, and he actually got 3 rounds off before the deer finally bailed into the desert, and all 3 were clean, wide misses. So obviously I need to spend a little extra time at the range with my family, but it was still great memories, great time together. All the non-meat related rewards to a family hunt were there. And as a father, it was great for me to watch my boy take those first shots and get that adrenaline rush and have that experience of sending his first rounds at a live animal. It was so much fun, memories I'll cherish. Now, a month later, archery season reopened in most units around the state, but this one as well. And usually I try to find a few days and I get somewhere in the backcountry in December, but I just did not have time. The way family work holiday schedules fell, all I was going to be able to pull off was a morning here, an evening there, and when I have that, the farm is where I come. Now my first couple attempts out here did not go well.
Okay, we are back at the farm. I have been here all day, walked in before dawn to a little blind that my father-in-law built in a tree, and as the sun came up, it was clear that the farm was abandoned as far as deer. Then drove around, checked all the tracks, all the entry points. There's some activity, but nothing that looks super fresh. My father-in-law's been running a few cameras here since before rifle season, and up until last week, the bucks were still here, the deer were still here. It's pretty consistent and awesome. And the last week, they've just kind of petered out a little bit. Latest piece of joy for the evening. There is a family of like, I don't know, 4 or 5 kids, with their parents, of course, parked down in front of one of the dilapidated buildings out here on the farm. Based on how they're dressed, I'm pretty sure they're set up for like family Christmas photos. It's just the best timing. I mean, I realize for photography, we're approaching golden hour, it's a great time, but for love, you cannot catch a break out here. I don't even know anymore what is happening. There's 2 guys in a truck that I thought worked on the farm, drove like past here, wrapped all the way around, spit out here, and I thought, okay, they were just checking on stuff, they're gonna go. Then they parked their truck right by where one of the main places I would expect deer to come, filled up a chainsaw with gas, hopped the fence out into the desert, and walked out there with their chainsaw. Family's still setting up for pictures. I don't freaking know what's happening. So, there has been so much commotion around this farm. I don't know what to hope for anymore.
After a hunt or 2 like that, Christmas came and went, and then I had 2 evenings left for the entire year that I was going to be able to get out here and hunt. And so the sign had kind of been drying up, we'd been seeing less deer, tracks were getting old, and so I just put myself in a spot of the farm where I was going to have to try to close the distance if I saw anything, but I at least had a vantage point on a couple different points of entry, a couple of fields. I could at least try to figure out where they're coming from.
Okay, I've been sitting here in between a couple fields just because there's been so much less activity. I've been watching this group of does and fawns for half an hour now, waiting for a buck to come out and follow them. Because what we've seen most of all is the bucks have just kind of vanished. But now I've picked up a couple of spikes and one, I got a quick glimpse of him, but really deep forks, decent buck. So They just came feeding out from the other direction, and they're all converging in this field. Usually they stick to the far east side where they can have some quick escape and some really thick brush. I think I have about half an hour left tops. And it's just flat open from me to them, so I'm not getting out there. I'm wondering if I have enough time to bomb into the desert, take a big loop around, and then pop up through a little clearing. And if they'll still be there, if there will still be light, and if I can head them off. It's a lot of ifs, but it's more action than I've seen here in a little bit, so time to quit talking about it and get moving.
I don't know exactly how or when those bucks evaded me, but at least having seen them come in, it gave me a plan for the next and final night to post up right where I saw them enter, keep the wind good, and hope that they came in the same general area. That buck. It looked like he went down and jumped it. I held for 70 because he popped out quicker than I thought. I should have stopped to range him. I had time. I just got caught up in it. That first spike just took off out there. But then he ran and turned and looked again at me at 100. I'm not, my last pin is 70. I'm not trying to pin stack on a guy that far out.
if he caught my movement. I didn't feel like he was looking at me. I thought he was looking at something behind me. The wind's still good. So I don't know. Other than he's just extra jumpy because he's been shot at already today. But seeing him bouncing around triple confirms for me that that was a clean miss. Once the light's gone, I'll go find my arrow. But I've replayed it in my head 1,000 times. And now that I've ranged some stuff, I know that I aimed for 70, he was 60, and he jumped. So that thing just sailed right over him. I just stuck a buck at 30 yards, right at the last light. He ran out into this field, and the farther away he got, it was so dark, I'm pretty sure I saw him biff it and spill out way out in there. I can't believe it. I heard it hit so good. I'm gonna give myself a second to calm down. Another buck was coming in behind him. I could hear him, because I heard this guy come in right behind me. And then he kept looking, and he gave me just a second to look away and draw. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna calm for a second. I'm gonna go find my arrow.
I support any hunter that ethically and legally hunts in whatever style they enjoy the most. Tree stand, ground blind, private land, public land, spot and stalk, archery, rifle, muzzleloader, crossbow, whatever floats your boat. Hunting is hard, no matter what style you choose. Now, I still love the public land backcountry thing. I think that'll always be my favorite kind of hunt, but even on a private farm like this, the process of figuring out the deer behavior, playing the wind, staying concealed, drawing and placing a lethal shot, it's still an accomplishment. It's a rush of excitement like nothing else, and it's plenty of delicious organic meat in the freezer. For this particular year, it also felt like a way to bring a little redemption to our family's hunting efforts out here. This buck represents the culmination of all the hard work, the close calls, the near misses. I actually consider him our buck, not my buck. And because of that, he'll be fondly remembered by our whole family.